the wall properly. A lot of guys will run the fence, but maybe it's not right, to how they do it. But also to me, it's like, okay, yeah, you got to be good up at the wall because there's speed there. But if everyone's running the fence, well, how are you going to pass anybody? So to me, it's how do you get your car to work well off of it as well? So it's like finding that fine line of being able to do both fairly well. So and I think we did that last year really good. I could run off the wall fast. I was good on the wall. So it's how do you find that balance between the two? And I think that's the toughest part about this place.
The fact that Joey's already in, is there anything he can do in the next couple of weeks to help you materially?
I feel like we all do a really good job of helping each other no matter what the scenario is, as far as kind of showing up pretty similar, and then maybe branching off in practice to kind of see, what changes do what. So I think that's like the biggest thing. How do you compare notes? And maybe you guys changed something in practice that was the right direction, and we went the other way, and maybe it wasn't the right direction, so we have some notes. And I feel like we all utilize all four of our cars really well in that scenario and that standpoint, so hopefully we can lean on that.
How do you feel like your ability to manage the pressure of these situations has evolved as you've matured in your career?
I think it gets easier in time, just as you get experience in this stuff, being in these situations and understanding what's at stake and how do you handle them. And there's pressure in everything, right? I mean, whenever it's your job and it's what you love doing, like there's pressure in big moments, and it's how do you handle it, right? How do you approach it and accept it and understand the pressure and just try to figure out how to kind of use it, to your advantage where maybe people don't handle the pressure very well. So yeah, it's just experience and time and stuff like that. And it's tough, but this is what we all do, and it's how do you do it, how do you handle it a little bit better than the next guy you're racing.
A lot of people have mentioned how these tracks in the round of 8 and even Phoenix tend to, like, the best drivers tend to run at the front. Do you kind of agree with that, even because this race won't be in this round next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think the last 4 races of the year really kind of the best teams kind of rise up. You kind of have a little bit more traditional racetracks, and especially this round and then Phoenix, and you kind of get the best of the best, which is how it should be. And yeah, I wish this place was in the playoffs next year. It's unfortunate it's not, because I think it puts on a great show, and it's a tough track to run well at, and you have people that push a little hard, make mistakes, and that can ruin your playoffs, and like that's neat to watch, and that's neat to be a part of. So yeah, maybe in 26 it'll be back, but yeah, these last handful of races are really good, and I think if you can get here, then you have to really step up, and your team does too, and it shows who's kind of the top guys that deserve to run for it.
Christopher Bell said his team, they're planning as if there's going to be 3 different winners, in this round, and they're racing for the last spot. So he's above the cut line.
Yeah.
So below the cut line, how are you guys approaching the situation?
Yeah, win. It's a scenario where I'm pretty out of it on points. Like, I'm not going to make up 40-something points. You're not going to get that lucky to where guys are going to have that big of blow-ups here the next 2 weeks, right? So, and we've kind of approached this round that way anyway, of like a must-win, because I feel like you're going to have. I agree with what they say of there's going to be 3 guys who win that are in the round. That are still in the playoffs, and then you're going to have one guy point its way in. I feel like that's how it's been the last handful of years, really. So, yeah, the mindset doesn't change. We don't really have to worry about points anymore, so that's, maybe that's another thing that we don't have to think about. We came into here wanting to win, understanding that we needed to win one of these 3 races, and now we just need to win one of the 2.
Is running the top here an advantage or disadvantage in the race? What do you think?
It's definitely an advantage. It's speed up there, and if you can do it efficiently, like, you can run the top, but if you don't do it very well, then you're just going to be slow and kind of in the way. So it's how do you run the wall well, but it's also how do you run well, off the fence. If everyone's running the wall, how are you going to pass the guy if you guys are just glued to the fence? So that's something I try to work on in practice. Like, I have to have speed up there to run good single car and clean air, but if I run up on a guy I'm only a couple tenths faster running the wall, well, I'm just going to ride behind him the whole time. So that's how do you balance that, like on the fence, off the wall, how do you navigate through traffic? So there's a lot of different scenarios than just running the wall well here. There's a couple other things that go on that you need to have, I think, to race well.
Time for 2 more.
Does it feel like Darlington at all, or is it different?
It's different. It's definitely different. I feel like the surface and the fall off are fairly similar to Darlington, but this place is a lot wider. I feel like you have a lot more options of lanes, especially in 1 and 2. You have the whole racetrack to use. 3 and 4, there's maybe 2.5 lanes late in the run. So yeah, it's just, I think it's honestly a little bit more racy than Darlington, just because you have more room to spread out and search for some grip and some lanes and pass. But I think the fall off is fairly similar.
Joey talked about feeling like you guys even work closer together even since last year. Look, your teammates, you've always, I'm guessing, worked pretty well together as a group, your team and the driver. So what more has gotten closer? What more has gotten better since last year, and why?
Yeah, I think Joey and I, work really well together, and we always have, and I feel like that's just gotten better year after year, and I don't know, I feel like as you get older, and he and I, it kind of became the two veteran guys on the Penske side over there. It's like, all right, we have to really rely on each other. How do we, really kind of take the reins and try to understand, and you try to bounce off each other, because I think we just both understand that, for our separate teams to be successful and all of Team Penske to be successful, which is a main goal too, you have to work together. You can't just be 4 separate entities, 3 separate entities, doing your own thing. What's the point of having a 3-4 car team if you're doing that? So that's just kind of been the Penske way here. It's just all try to rely on each other and use each other's skills to try to build your own, and it helps grow the whole thing healthy. So I think it's just something where we understand the deal, and we understand that we want to be successful for Roger, and to do that you have to work together, and we've been able to do that, fortunately, and it's been fun to work with Joey, learn from him, vice versa. He's obviously one of the greats, Hall of Famers, so it's been fun to pick his brain, and then even him take some stuff from me too. That's always nice. So it's a good little co-op deal that we got in, working with Austin and Harrison too. I mean, it takes a village, and we try to utilize that the best we can.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.